assortment of palms and trees with waxy green leaves that concealed pathways to the pool, spa, and restaurant. Ripples tickled the shore of the tranquil bay, which, according to the island guide in my glorious overwater bungalow, was protected from the surf by coral reefs just beyond the outcropping of rocks where the girl lounged. All up and down the shore, our crew frolicked in the sultry Caribbean sun, tossing frisbees and floating on their backs in the crystal-clear bay, as if they were in a Corona beer commercial. This was the sort of island paradise featured on office screensavers, where rich people came to decompress in seclusion, and honeymooners could enjoy the ocean without ever leaving the privacy of their luxurious accommodations. Nature was king, the rhythm of the day was determined by the weather, and no one was in a hurry. I would have been bored to tears if I weren't producing a movie. What can I say? For better or worse, I'd never known what to do with myself in the absence of a mission. Everyone talked about the importance of meditation or yoga to relieve stress, but I found stress useful. Pressure kept my feet on the ground. Without it, I feared I might float away. My therapist had tried in vain to convince me otherwise in recent months, but what did she know? I could only assume the entertainment industry was far more cutthroat than the mental health industry. At any rate, I simply wasn't made for a tropical environment like Rock Girl obviously was. My curly mop of dark hair didn't do that beachy wave thing. It frizzed. My lily-white skin didn't bronze. It burned. Also, I was allergic to sundresses, especially those in bright colors. You're staring. I spun to see Jackson Power's lopsided grin. A pair of black wayfarers slid down his nose, revealing mirthful, muddy green eyes. Hard not to, I admitted. I'll say. He dropped his backpack and towel on a lounger under one of the 10 or so straw umbrellas that dotted the beach and pulled his t-shirt over his head, revealing sun-kissed olive skin. Jackson was skinny, to be sure, but not unattractive. He was our director, though, and I would never cross the line with someone I was working with. Never again. Why didn't you come fishing with us yesterday? Jackson asked. I get seasick, I lied. Jackson watched our mermaid stretch her long limbs out like a cat, her chestnut locks tousled by the steady midday breeze. Who is she? I asked. Stella's new assistant. He tossed his sunglasses into his bag. She always did like the pretty ones. I opened my mouth to inquire what he meant, but he was already off, diving horizontally into the shallow water. Annoyed Stella had somehow hired an assistant I knew nothing about, I collapsed on a chair in the shelter of an umbrella and gladly shed the black sun hat I'd thought ideal back home in Los Angeles last week. I'd since come to understand why everyone wore light shades in the tropics, but the appropriate hats in the gift store were so exorbitantly priced that I had yet to bring myself to buy one. I blew down my black t-shirt and tugged at the damp waistband of my jean cutoffs, which I'd taken scissors to only this morning. Denim, also inappropriate for the Caribbean. My suitcase of dark t-shirts, jeans, and cargo pants was going to have to be amended. I'd slathered myself in SPF 70 and worn a sporty black one-piece beneath my clothes in hopes of perhaps going for a swim, but as I gazed upon the goddess on the rock, I thought better of it. Not because my sense of self-worth was tied up with my physical appearance, which it wasn't, but because I was only human, and while the curves on my vertically challenged frame were kept mostly in check by daily CrossFit torture, I knew when I was out of my league. Not that anyone was looking. Not that there was anyone on the island I'd have wanted to look. Still, vanity. Was vanity permissible these days? I wasn't sure. I knew I was supposed to be self-assured and body-confident, everyone else be damned, and that sounded fantastic. But it was also a tall order for a girl who'd grown up in millennial Hollywood. Oh, the midriffs, with a misogynist father. So I buried my shameful insecurity beneath an industrial-strength steel facade and didn't let anyone in.